what started happening with the payment processors. So just a little bit of context for people. Um, there were some organizations that started complaining about, and I think you mentioned it, some games being rape games, and or maybe even incest games, that sort of thing, and started pushing payment processors like Visa and MasterCard towards not allowing payments for sites that allow it. The most prominent ones being itch.io and Steam, of course. Now, itch.io, I think, has banned all AVNs at some point. I don't know if it's still in place or what is exactly going on there. And I know Steam as well has removed some games. What are your overall thoughts about this? How do you think about it?
Well, I have a history with censorship and my game. Because when I started the game, it was about Jack and Eve, who were twin brothers and sisters. So they were siblings. And I think it was in 2020 there was a first crackdown on the incest game on Patreon. And before that, they were totally okay with that kind of content, and suddenly they weren't okay anymore. So I changed the story, and Eve became adoptive sister. I think it was 2024. Patreon finally contacted me and banned me from their platform, telling me that the family situation wasn't acceptable and that kind of thing. So they kicked me out. And I was, at that moment, Patreon was my main income. And it has been, I have to say, a really difficult time. So I refocused myself on Subscribestar, which is another food crowding site, and there I uncensored the game. So Eve and Jack were again twin sister and brother. And then last year, there was the event you were talking about, and that censorship again on itch and Steam. And there was an uproar on the social media from the players who were protesting against it, but there was no effect. Censorship is still there. Today, I think you cannot make that kind of game anymore on itch for sure. I think most of the visual novels are still on Steam, but they are delisted. They are not indexed. The pages still exist, but you cannot reach them if you don't have the URL. And on Steam, it's more difficult to know what you can and you cannot do because Steam doesn't communicate. They have the most vague rule possible. Basically, they say if the payment processor are not okay with what you do, we can cut you out. Okay, so knowing that the position of the payment processor evolves pretty much when you want it to evolve, that's not really, that doesn't feel really safe. Even on Subscribestar, who was like, they prided themselves to be the uncensored option of crowdfunding and so on. And a few months ago, they changed their term of service. They have reverted it since then, but on their term of service, they banned incest, they banned a lot of things. They started checking the content you were publishing with an AI or something. And even if they reverted it since then, and even if they are now making some move to show that they are going forward to ensure that you might publish uncensored content and so on. I have to say that the trust is pretty much broken. And yeah, I with the last update, I censored the game again, and from twins they became cousins. And that's a weird thing because cousins still have the same you reaction, I'd say, cousin relationship, but it's legal in most part of the world, and as such, payment processor doesn't seem to care about cousins banging each other, and so I opted for that solution. But I'm not happy with it. I mean, that's not the story I wanted to tell when I started the game. That's most likely the best option for the game at the moment. I don't know if it will change in the future or not, but for now, I don't really have a choice. It's that or die. Basically, I came to feel that it was a question of survival, and it's very sad because it's bowing down to this organization you mentioned, to payment processors, to PayPal, to these extremists. I'm not even sure they were religious extremists in Australia. I don't remember their name, but
I think it's Collective Shout in Australia.
yeah, what's the name? And ultimately, I am bowing down to them. I am agreeing to change what I created to make them happy, and I am uncomfortable with it. I don't like it, but I have to do it. And yeah, the game. I want to finish the game, but right now that's my goal. I want to see the completion of the game, and I still have many years to work on it to achieve that goal, and I cannot risk to have it lose this support on Subscribestar or on Steam or anywhere else because losing support means that I have to go back to work and I cannot work on the game anymore. And basically, that means death for Summerson, and I don't want that to happen. That's as simple as that. So it's censorship. Uh, it's I think it's a bad thing for society, what it tells about us. But as long as we fail to really oppose these big corporations, we can do anything against it. That's sad, but so of course there are people who say that we could make your own Patreon, which will be uncensored, and all that, but it's not possible. If you look at Subscribestar, they gave sin to giving in themselves. I don't think that there is any viable solution aside from giving in. That's sad, but that's how it is.
Yeah, so it's very interesting. I wanna stay here a bit longer because, so particularly with the incest, right? That is something that does happen in the game, but also what I think is very interesting is that what happens between Jack and Eve. The main part is the taboo there, and for the story to make sense, it needs to be there, because
Yeah,
otherwise, it's just a good story. Jack and Eve like each other and should be together,
yeah,
right? There is no uh, there is no conflict there. But I think Eve specifically, if I remember the line, she'd love Jack since she even knew what love means. It is something very deep there that is happening, and the problem is, of course, that it's taboo, right? How are you going to tell your parents that you love your sister or your brother, respectively? Um, and yeah, it's very disappointing to hear that you have a vision as an artist, which again people might even find the story. I mean, in a sense, that's why it works because people find it even let's say disgusting that Eve and Jack would be together, but that's what the story is exploring and is about. And the fact that somebody's outrage comes in and says, well, you're not allowed to as an artist to explore that story because we don't like it. um yeah, it's just remember or try to think of like how many I don't necessarily want to like great pieces of art, but how many pieces of art in history were controversial, right?
Mm.
I mean, at some point, homosexuality was disgusting,
Yeah.
right? Should we have banned? And there were bans, right, on those kind of literature or those kind of things. Telling an artist what they can or cannot do. I mean, while I was listening to you, I'm sad. It's terrifying to see that somebody wants to make something that is not hurting anybody, right? It's not like,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. Yeah. As you said, it's not hurting anybody, but these people think they can govern your thoughts, your talk, your creation, everything, and I'm not sure in what name. At the end of the day, I mean, if there is no victim, there is no one is hurt. There is no damage to the society made by that kind of art. I don't understand really what, but I guess they understand. That's sufficient for them.
now I've seen a few things from Collective Shout where they try to say, well, we don't want to ban things, we just want to come after specific ones. I think even on itch.io, because I
Mm,
think for a while itch.io banned like all adult visual novels, and they said,
yeah,
wait, we didn't want all banning, we just want these few. Um, but I guess what would you, if somebody said your game specifically should be banned because it has incest, what would you say?
I don't know. Honestly, the truth is that in the game at the moment there is two cousins who have sex. I mean, I'm not going to hide that. There is no point in trying. I don't see why I would do that because I'm not ashamed of it. It's just a work of fiction, and uh, and that's all. And if someone is uncomfortable with it, he can just avoid it. I don't see why it should be banned, but I guess someone could very well find a reason to. But I don't think you can reason with these people anyway. So should I bother prepare a reason in advance? I don't think so. It's if that happens, there is nothing you can do to fight it. If they manage to reach the right people and convince them that your work of art has to disappear because reason, there is nothing you can do to defend it. That's the world we live in, sadly.
Um, yeah, and again, specifically, before I got into AVNs, which I think was only like 3 or 4 years ago, I had no idea those exist on Steam. Uh, if you never, I think if you don't allow 18 plus setting on Steam
Mm,
or itch.io for the matter, I had no idea this type of games even exist. I mean, I know
yeah.
there are maybe some sex games you can find on like a browser or something, but I had no idea Steam has, I mean, basically a whole ecosystem. You can, on Steam itself, you can find hundreds and hundreds. I mean, not even AVNs, different kind of things, right? But you don't see it unless you're seeking it out. All right.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's if you don't activate, as you said, the 18 plus 18 plus option on Steam, you cannot see the adult content on Steam, and it's the same thing I think on itch.io. That's why it's kind of niche actually. You have to know it exists to be able to search for it. So finding new players can be difficult. I know that some developers have tried to extend their reach by making, uh, I'd say, non-adult friendly version of their game. I don't know if it works. I don't know if it works actually, but I can understand it because, as you said, it's a closed system. If you don't know how to open the door, there is no way you find us.
Yeah, and maybe I can, since I usually play all my games on Steam, maybe just a quick shout out to GOG, who I think, as a response to last year itch.io banning a lot of AVNs, have actually allowed many of the games to be on GOG, and I think have even given out very good games from what I
Yeah,
remember. Like, um,
Leap
I
of
don't know
Faith,
if
I
you,
think.
yeah, sorry.
Leap of Faith was one
Oh
of the
yeah, I
game I
think
think.
Leap of Faith, one of the definitely considered one of the best out there. And I think I remember many others were sort of like I think I
Mm.
played like half of them that they released. So I would definitely, for people who are more afraid of sort of providers shutting down or anything like that, GOG also with their free DRM free model is
Yeah,
definitely.
so GOG reaction was a welcome one, but the truth is that when Mastercard and Visa come to your door, even if you're GOG, and they tell you you remove these games or we stop supporting your store with our payment processing services, you just don't have a choice. So I'm not saying it's a posture from GOG. I say that at that moment they were in a position where they didn't have the pressure and they could afford to do it. They're also based in Europe. Maybe that they have some other options that are not open to American services. I don't know. I know that in France, for example, we have some other payment processing services that are French only. Maybe GOG does have similar alternative. I don't know. Maybe if that is the case, maybe they have more latitude than Steam, but I kind of doubt it. So the reaction was a welcome one, but sadly, I'm not sure uh, that it will save anyone if there is a more important and general crackdown on the genre.
Yeah,
That
in
being
that way,
said,
yeah.
I do plan to go to try to get the game on GOG next year, if possible. That's on my to-do list.
Hmm. Yeah, that's great to see. And yeah, I think that's why it's important to, in a sense, speak out when this starts happening, because it always starts with porn, right? It's, you don't want to be the guy who says, "Hey, they are shutting down my porn games. Can we do something about it?"
Yeah,
It's always, and in a sense, that's why I was interested in, or at least that was my inspiration for asking, for example, you to do an interview. To, I mean, I was always interested in the making of it, but I think now more than ever, I think there needs to be a pushback towards, no, you cannot just say we don't like this and suddenly.
yeah, because as you said, it starts with porn because it's a easy victim. You don't want, as you said, hey, you took my porn, you took my incest porn, or my that game in which I was raping my mother or something like that. You took it from me. You're the villain. It's, it's a difficult thing to say publicly, even though I think that last year the uproar on social media was it wasn't enough to revert the situation, but it was enough to show the payment processor that maybe nowadays people were less afraid to say, "Hey, I'm watching porn too, and I don't want you to take it from me." So I'm not saying that it would change anything, but there is hope. I think there is hope. I want to believe there is hope. If there wasn't, we could stop doing anything and just lay down and die. But I just hope that a different future is possible, and maybe in the future, positive change could happen.
Yeah, and again, I would say I think there are some disgusting games. I think there are some that,
Yeah.
especially since with the AVNs we are dealing with sex, that's that much more that you have to be careful about, dealing with the subject properly. And I think there are games or video makers that do not really seem to care about how they approach the subject, and I think it is very problematic. But still, it's not really the business of somebody else to say, no, you cannot do this.
Mm. Yeah.
Especially
Well,
from, yeah.
the thing is, that's kind of the eternal question: is everything art or not? And who can define what is art and what isn't? What can be said and what cannot? And so on and so on. Because yes, there is some, as you said, disgusting content. I'm thinking like there was game where you would fuck children, that kind of thing. But I
Where
find
you would what?
you will touch children like pedo games. I'd say
Oh, okay.
that kind of thing I know for sure exists.
Hmm.
Uh, and does it have the right to exist? But that's the question. You know, I cannot I cannot give an answer to that. I mean, I cannot judge. I am in no position, no moral authority to say yes or not. And who is? That's the question. Uh, that's decision for society to take, but that kind of decision reclaims a debate. And as of now, we don't have a debate on that matter. When the payment processor decide to shut down to threaten to shut down Steam if they didn't remove that game or that one or that other, there was no debate. It was completely unilateral. So maybe that there is a need for censorship. Maybe I could accept it if it was like for the greater good, let's say. But the question is who has the capacity to define what is the greater good and what cannot be said. It's in an ideal world, that's a decision that is made by a society that governs itself and that is enlightened. The problem is it does not exist. It does not exist. We are simply individuals, and none of us is really armed to judge that kind of thing. And in that situation, I think it's less harmful to let people express themselves than to censor them without consultation. But of course, the truth is that in the censorship that occurred last year and before that, it wasn't for moral reason. It was for marketing and commercial reasons. If you listen uh, to Steam and and various source. Uh, Visa and Mastercard to threaten Steam pushed forward some clause in their term of service that essentially said that anything that could be harmful to the image of their society could be deplatformed immediately without justification or anything like that. And that is the clause that they showed to Steam to make them take down games. So that means that they decided that that game on Steam that was paid with their credit card was harmful to their images, so to the money they could eventually make, uh, and that it needed to be taken down. So it is not a moral reason. It is not for the greater good. It is just for marketing and commercial reason. And it's sad and it's scary because it means that eventually, ultimately, the guy who has more money than you will always be right, and you will always be wrong. And there is no freedom of expression in that kind of world.
Yeah. Now, just to say for myself, I mean, when they, it's like an interesting thing to say to that games that would hurt them image. I mean, that's like an individual comparison, right? Like to me, it hurts their image that they decide that certain games shouldn't be allowed. I mean, I don't view that as a positive thing.
I
And
don't
I would
either.
only add for myself that I'm generally sort of like a big capitalist, so I
Mhm.
don't like, for example, the government coming in and telling companies what I can do. So generally, respect is not the right word. I think they should be allowed to make these decisions, but I think consumers should definitely speak out and say, yeah, that's not the decision we like, and we would like you to reverse that decision. Because again, I don't think this helps the image of Visa.
Mhm.
Um, and again, I don't, because in some instances, I would say, uh, I mean, specifically, I don't think Visa or MasterCard, I cannot find like a good example of when they should want to sort of stop like sending funding, unless it's something that's like actually illegal. If somebody's using Visa to fund some terrorist group or something, yeah, shut that down because it shouldn't be legal. uh, I think that's more of a platforms themselves to think about what kind of platforms they want to be, because I think there are some games on Steam that I think don't should be there. But again, that's on me as an individual having an idea and then company deciding what they want to do.
Well, that's the thing with freedom of expression. It includes the right to say things that you will find disgusting. And it's not because you do not agree with that kind of topic that the people who speak them cannot speak them. I completely agree with you. There are some content that I don't want to see, but that doesn't mean that that content shouldn't be there, because there are other people who want to see them, who are at least are not bothered by it, and that the fact that I am bothered shouldn't prevent them from enjoying it, because I cannot infringe on their liberty just because I am displeased. That's I think that's the essential here. Steam had, as you say, plenty of games that are morally doubtful, let's say, but that's in the name of freedom of expression. They are not judgmental store. They still have rules, but they are not extremely constraining. and I think it's a good thing that they allow as much game as possible. Now, the problem is that whatever judgment level of judgment the store has, it's always be second to the judgment of the payment processors.
Yeah, I would only add on that yeah, I think freedom of expression is important, but also I think it goes both ways in the way that I mean, for example, I know there is one game on Steam that was even banned in some countries, and I'm not sure if it's still on Steam. I think they took it down actually, but it was basically allowing you to like do a terrorist like it had a DLC where you could commit a terrorist attack that like happened recently, um, and you know that there is a question debate you could have about like should something like that be allowed, or rather should Steam want something like that. But I think fundamentally it's on Steam to decide, and if their goal is in a sense freedom of expression, then you know do that. But also I don't think Steam should be compelled to say every game now has to be on Steam because we have some freedom of expression idea that means you know now Steam is the one that is subservient to, because in a sense that is Steam's freedom of expression, right? To say
Yeah,
we don't want this. But I think in that way,
yeah,
I think that's why it's important to speak out, to basically say, you know, we like this decision or we don't like this decision. Steam managed its dominance in the market by, I think, being generally good.
right now I think that the biggest problem when you publish a game on Steam is that you don't have the exact guidelines
Hmm.
of the store. You don't know what is precisely allowed or not. You know that they allow a lot, but what
So,
precisely decide if you're going to be accepted or not, you don't know. The
so we should say you made the decision to change Eve from twin to cousin, not from some compulsion, right? It's like it's just you don't know. Is it okay or is it not?
Yeah, yeah. Because as of now, I think that there are, I'm sure even that there are still some games on Steam that are about incest with siblings, step or not, and
I think
they are.
what many do is let you edit the relationship. Basically,
Hmm.
the story basically the story only makes sense if the woman is a mother or
Yeah.
is a sister,
To
but
be
they let
honest,
you define it. You can say they are just friends.
yeah, that's a solution I don't like.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I like to have control on my story and how the player will experience it. So that's not a solution for me. But I'm sure that there is even some game on Steam who works on the incest content without any artifice. But I don't know if they will last. I don't know if Steam will come after them or not. But the thing is, I'm pretty sure that most of the crackdown that happened last year was denunciation based, meaning that the game that were deplatformed from Steam were directly pointed by someone who said that game has to go. So at that point, uh, it's a question of risk. Do I want to take the risk to be one day pointed like this game and put and the platform? Um, no, what's the answer? I don't want to be in that situation. Even because if I'm being honest, I think that when I was deplatformed from Patreon on 2024, I'm pretty sure that it was based on a report from someone.
Mhm.
I think that someone reported me. Even though the version that I published on Patreon anywhere else at the moment was the Eve is adopted the sister version of the script, and well, that wasn't enough for them.